presenting myself to society could be very difficult at times. Like, for example, like when I want to introduce myself to a new group of people, I don't know if I should like act a certain way because I don't want them to think a certain thing of me. It's like almost like nerve-wracking because you think like, oh, if you start acting the way you actually are these people going to think of you kind of differently? Are they going to ask you questions that might make you feel uncomfortable? I also like have been like left out of some kind of like a lot of kind of things. I like in middle school I was a big football guy, loved football. Went to high school, didn't continue with football, but did it for 3 years in middle school. Mainly I didn't continue because like a lot of like people in my high school thought I was like kind of broody and like would not want to like be in a locker room with me or like do football stuff with me because like I was seen a different way. So yeah, it's just like that.
I think it's gotten a lot easier presenting myself since coming to the University of Washington. I feel like Seattle is a lot more of an inclusive community, and there's also just a larger LGBTQ community here.
My parents always wanted me to be a like big masculine like man, talk to girls, bring girls over. My mom would even say like, hey, if you want to bring a girl over, let me know and I'll make sure the house is clean. I felt like I was shaped to be this like fit into the like normal stereotype of like a normal like masculine male, but a lot of the time that's not the case for a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, and that definitely has it's a lot harder because like it was hard to figure out who I really was when I had to take myself out of that environment.
I think that as far as like physically excluded from some place, I never think that I felt physically excluded from a location, but there were a lot of places that I felt very uncomfortable being in, and it was a lot of little things. I was really uncomfortable in the locker room before gym class. That was some place that I absolutely hated to be. It actually got to the point where I would, in the morning, I would wear my gym clothes underneath my regular clothes so that I could just take off my top layer and leave the locker room as quickly as possible, because I never even wanted there to be the possibility for someone to perceive that I was like wandering eyes or that I was like in there for too long. I similarly hated the bathroom. I would never use a urinal. I would pee in a stall because I never wanted someone to think that I was looking at them, which is weird. Like it is really weird. But I was just hyper aware of those kinds of interactions. And like not all of the things that I felt excluded from were because I was gay. Like some of it just comes down to personality and interest, but there were definitely a lot of social circles that I didn't feel comfortable interacting with. Like finding a table at lunch wasn't something that was super easy for me. A lot of the times I would, especially in elementary and middle school, mostly like this is a time before you are even aware that you might be gay. But for me, I would like get my food, get a book, and I would eat in the library, or I would eat at recess on my own. And again, not all of this is because I was gay or finding myself, but it just came down to the fact that I was aware at an early age that I didn't fit in with the community that I was living in, and I didn't really want to be there.
Pretty important for me to be around different groups of people in a more diverse environment, because I feel when intersectionality is happening and there's people intermingling with each other in different cultures and different backgrounds, you see the world in ways that you might not see as like you were raised. We were all like, a lot of us were raised and taught to see the world in one specific way, and when there's diversity, you really put yourself in different shoes and see the world in a different kind of lens than you normally would.
I think that when people think of diversity, they think of the diversity that they can see. They think of diversity of gender, they think of diversity of race. But I think that something that is often not thought of enough is diversity of thought. And I think that the diversity that you can see is a shortcut to getting to that place where you have diverse perspectives. I think that diversity, like the benefit of diversity, the reason why as a business student so many of our conversations in our classes center around how we can get diversity in the workplace or how we can get diversity in our businesses, in our organizations, is because when you have diverse perspectives, you are going to ultimately be able to cater to an audience larger than what you would be able to do on your own. That's why we have group projects. It's because when you get 4 minds together, you're able to create something better than just one mind. But if all 4 of those minds come from the same place, if they have shared the same background, if they are essentially identical, then you're not getting the same benefit that you would get if you got 4 completely different minds. And so I think that the benefit of diversity comes from innovation, it comes from ideation, and it allows us to explore the world in a way that we wouldn't be able to explore it on our own.